Breaking news today. The tragic story of a brave but insane Russian activist. Fear of disappearing was a recurring theme in Anatoly Berezikov's testimony during his trial. On June 14, after being incarcerated for 2 weeks, his body was discovered in a cell in southwest Russia. Since the Kremlin initiated widespread hostilities in February 2022, Berezikov is the first known critic of the Ukraine conflict to die in custody. The official cause of death is listed as suicide, but the circumstances surrounding his death remain unknown. His supporters argue that this isn't true, and instead point to the widespread use of torture in the Russian penal system as the likely cause of Berezikov's death in custody. It's possible to repress people without a trial or an inquiry. Berezikov's advocate, Tatiana Sporicheva, told AFP that they can kidnap you, imprison you, search you, intimidate you, torture you, and kill you. Berezikov was known as a jovial nonconformist, lover of experimental music, an outspoken critic of Russian leader Vladimir Putin in the city of Rostov in southern Russia. He was one of thousands of Russians who had spoken out against the war and received death threats, fines, or jail time for their opinions. Consecutive, but brief, prison sentences. Berezikov, who was born in the Siberian city of Biysk in 1983 but settled in the city of Rostov in the 2010s, participated in the city's underground cultural scene. He made a living in the tattoo and piercing industry. A friend told AFP that he made and sold tattooing machines, under the condition of anonymity. Security forces have also gone after Berezikov's close associates. Because of his ingenuity and willingness to experiment, Berezikov also constructed analog synthesizers to use in his noise music explorations. According to 52-year-old musician Valentin Sokorev, he was a God-given technician. Berezikov scoured the area for replacement components. A picture of him from 2019 shows him at a flea market in the snow wearing only shorts and baring his chest. Berezikov typically dressed in this revealing two-piece. The 40-year-old man with the long blonde hair and beard rode his bike around the southern city of Rostov-on-Don without a shirt on. Berezikov also participated in the anti-corruption movement led by prominent opposition figure Alexei Navalny. It was clear from the start that he did not support Russia's decision to send troops into Ukraine. The Ukrainian "I Want to Live" campaign provides instructions on how to surrender to Russian soldiers, and he claimed to have put up posters from that effort. To silence Kremlin critics before serious charges are brought, the police arrested Berezikov in May and sentenced him to 3 consecutive short prison terms for alleged misdemeanors. Lawyers for Berezikov claim he was tortured with electric shocks and beatings while in custody. On May 31, activist Sporicheva spotted Berezikov in court and recorded him on video, showing him to be visibly worn out. He looked much thinner than he used to. "They want to take me away," he kept repeating. She threatened to vanish so that no one could ever find her again. According to authorities, Berezikov committed suicide by hanging himself in his cell on June 14. However, no public medical opinion from experts has been released. However, a probe has been opened by the authorities to determine whether or not abuse played a role in the alleged suicide. After receiving death threats from security services, Sporicheva and lawyer Irina Gak, who were also investigating Berezikov's death, fled Russia. Currently, the case is being handled anonymously by a lawyer from the Russian human rights NGO Prvy Otdel. Berezikov's relatives avoid the media out of fear for their safety. In a nutshell, a hornet's nest. Sokorev, a musician who viewed himself as an older brother figure to Berezikov, claimed he spent a great deal of time trying to persuade the tattooist to give up his political activism. "I warned him, don't do that, my friend. You can get stung very severely if you wave your hand in front of a hornet's nest. Therefore, you should refrain from doing so. But he didn't see that," Sokorev said, "he didn't see the risk." The musician elaborated, saying, "He was brave, but mad. During Russia's bloody constitutional crisis in 1993, Sokarev witnessed tanks firing on the Moscow parliament. He abandoned political involvement as a result of the recent events. Once I realized who had the tanks, I knew who was right in this country. Sokarev, who lives in the village of Davidkovo, not far from Moscow, and where he tends a vegetable garden, said, "I haven't voted since 1996. He took his 4 dogs out onto the porch and plugged in one of his friend's homemade synthesizers. The electronic sound produced by the instrument is very sharp. According to Sokarev, some people, including Berezikov, find a sense of calm in the cacophony of sounds emanating from the machine.